can save this. All right, guys. So thank you guys for coming on. Really, so the point of this is it's a Q&A, and it's really meant to serve you guys and to offer almost like, you guys remember like office hours in college, or like, and so that's what this is meant to kind of be, where it is office hours. And my hope is that between myself and Luke, Luke is going to have more of a consistent schedule, and even with myself, the idea is that we host these on a weekly basis, maybe even 2 of them if people really like them. And this will be an opportunity for you to ask questions. And this will also, you send your coaches into here. So that's hopefully going to not alleviate some of the one-on-one or lots of the similar questions or the repetitive questions, but it's going to offer us an opportunity to really just serve you guys in a way that's kind of like an office hours. So, and again, I won't have anything planned for this. It's not like a team call. It's literally, I'm here, whoever shows up, they can get what you guys can learn from each other. I would just ask you that if you have several questions, if you come in with several questions, let's honor everyone, give everyone an opportunity to ask questions. If they have questions, maybe you just want to come in and listen, that's fine too. And just take from what other people are either have questions about or struggling about. So yeah. And so that is kind of, where the inspiration comes for this. And hopefully you guys will, enjoy it. And obviously we'll continue it as long as there's people coming on and hopping on. And it's only meant to be 30 minutes. I don't want to be taking up too much of your time because, again, we should be focusing on business activities that are going to move our business forward. So just taking 30 minutes, again, honoring each other's time for this. So anyway, anyone want to start us off, or anyone have, any questions? Oh, great. I love questions. Yay. Go ahead, Miss Katie.
Hey. Okay. Quickly. I decided I'm going to build on Instagram.
Can you hear her?
So can you not hear me?
You can hear Katie? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Katie, I can't hear you.
Okay. I'll just type it in the chat.
That's weird. Can you guys hear Katie?
Well, I guess they can hear me, but I'll chat it for you.
Try coming in and coming back on and seeing.
Do you want me to come in?
Try logging on. My volume is up. Let me see. Let me unmute. Courtney, say something.
Oh, I can't hear Courtney.
Oh, I hear Katie now. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So Instagram has a limit of 4,000 that you can follow. Is that true?
I believe it's 7,000.
7? Okay.
Yeah.
So 7,000, and then
7,500. Oh, 7,500 is Chelsea.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Chelsea. And then once you hit that, how do you find people to how do you decide who to unfollow?
Yeah, so you can use a secondary app. There is like a follow on. I gotta look and see what the name of the app is. It's called Cleaner. There's a Cleaner app that you can use to find those that are not following you back, or find those that are not being as active back. I would just be careful with automatic systems like that, just because Instagram and Facebook is really locking down on those types of programs and giving us. So maybe you can use it as like a way for you to see. But really what I do is, to be honest, my mindset, and I don't know if Chelsea has any, she can right here, but my mindset behind my Instagram is that it's legit like a business. It's a business account for me. And so I literally, my goal is always to increase it, but then I'm always going to just unfollow a bunch of people unless I know for a fact that they're either a customer, or I know that maybe it's one of you guys, or I know that it's someone that I want to see on my feed. You understand? Like, I want to have that inspiration. So like I've been to that point where I had about, I had 7,500 followers, and like I did not even like looking at my feed. So now I'm around like, I want to say like 1,500 followers, I think. And I'm always going down. I'm always unfollowing people, even if they're like, I'm just always unfollowing people, and I'm only looking for people that I want to see on my feed.
Okay.
So don't even like be that, I wouldn't be that stressed out about, I would just, start unfollowing some people manually and just try to get that.
And then, does does it have to be like you unfollow 50 people and then like you wait an hour and I heard you can only do like 50 actions per hour. Is that still true?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's all I had for now. That was my big one.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Anyone else have questions? Casey.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay,
Casey,
great.
remind me, who is your sponsor coach? Just so that
Ariel.
Ariel?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a parent account my mom joined to help me out, and I'm still working on building my own. So do you have any advice for like building the parent account, and should I like pretend it's me when I put people under it, or like what's your advice on that?
Yeah, so I think this is a great question. I think a lot of so what I did, so for me, my parent account is Luke, or my spouse account is Luke. And what I always teach the team is you always want to get customers first in your first CBC. Let's get known with the language. Our CBCs, or business center, is a CBC. You want to get to Success Club 5 in your first CBC, and then put people into your second CBC, which would be your spouse account, your parent account, whatever it is. Okay. Now, what I do is I tell people, I say, hey, you know, I will tell them, hey, because it's Luke, I will say, hey, by the way, I'm actually going to be signing you up under my second account that I manage. You're going to see the name is going to say Luke. I just want you to know that is me. I think, you know, I'm not sure if Chelsea lets them know that it's Cheryl, you know, in her second account that they're going to see the name of, but that's how I would just be upfront and just say, hey, by the way, I'm going to be adding you into my second account. And that's how I'll be signing you up. But it's me. That's who I just happen to have two accounts that I manage. And then, well, Chelsea's like, I just sign them up, and most of the time they don't even ask. So yeah, so she just signs them up, and some people are not even looking. So you can try that method as well.
Okay.
And then if they do ask and they say, hey, who's this person? Then, and she said, because all of my people are strangers from IG. So maybe they think her middle name is Cheryl. You can always say Chelsea Cheryl Hillard, and then they're like, oh, that's my other account. It's my middle name. So they might not know if I go by my government name. It's true. That's true. So yeah, that's how I would handle that. But It's great that you have that account, because you want to have that account. You want to have that high up in your tree, even if you're like right now just focusing on building your first one. But you want to have that high up in your tree, because anyone that's going to be coming in under you and under the team after you, eventually when you are building up that second business center, to Emerald, to Diamond, to Star Diamond, you're going to see the volume is going to, you know, come in through that, and you'll benefit from that in the future.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. Who else has a question? Yep.
So Ashley Molstad was saying that she now only posts one post a day, and that she spends most of her time on stories. Do you do that as well?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. That is what I do now. Again, the thing with social media is constantly changing. And again, you have to find what's going to work best for you. I do know people who still post like 2 times. And sometimes I do post 2 times a day. Like today, for example, my plan, I haven't posted yet. And you'll see that I actually post later in the day, because that's when I, you know, when my audience has been most active. Chelsea said she posts 1 to 5 times a day. So really, there's no like, oh, post 1 time a day and like post 15 stories and you're like guaranteed. It's really whatever is going to be most consistent for you. I know that for me, I like to have a white quote. I like to have, and what I mean, you know, white background quote followed by a picture. And I like to have a video, because videos are high engaging. For Instagram and for Facebook, video is always king. And so again, it's just really whatever at the very least, at least once a day. And if you are going to just be doing once a day, you better be going hard on your stories.
Okay.
And talking, and like the stories are the behind the scenes. You're talking about what you're doing, getting your, you know, you want the stories to be your flavor. Like that's where people can really, really get to know who you are, get to know your personality. That's where you're going to share that. Chelsea says in the caption on that, one pic better be good. Yeah. If you're going to only have one picture, don't have it be like, you know, make sure that there's some effort, storytelling, you know, really going in and putting a story, some context behind what you're posting.
Okay.
Awesome. Anyone else? Do, do, do.
It looks like Kristen had a question about if Luke's starting the group he talked about at Summit.
So Luke, so the plan is that we're going to be kind of doing things like this and kind of like Q&As. He'll be doing the Q&As as well. And then we will, because he is going to be stepping up his leadership more. And so we still haven't hashed that out yet. We'll talk, we got to talk a little bit more about what exactly we're going to do, if we're going to have like a separate group. But you'll see that the plan is for him to just be overall more involved. And then obviously, again, if for group calls, him being on group calls and being able to give his advice as well. Casey?
One of my other questions is regarding follow-up. A lot of times, like, people just ignore the messages. And so when you follow up with them, would you suggest focusing on building the relationship, or just say, hey, we talked about this earlier or something? But if they're not responding, do you just keep talking to them?
I do keep talking to them. And honestly, I have so many examples of me just sending a hey, like just kind of like, hey, how are you? Just wanted to connect, see where you are in your wellness goals. Looking forward to hearing back from you. And it's sometimes I'm just trying to just get them back into the conversation, and I will send someone like 5 messages before they finally message me back. But we try to be very consistent, where we send them at least every month, or depending on where your list is. Obviously, when you're just starting, you can afford to send people a monthly message at the very least. But as your list gets bigger and you have, several thousand, then, you will, you'll pick and choose if this is someone maybe you spread out to every 2 months. And also just being having variety in how you're reaching out. Like sometimes I will send a voice memo. And, and you could do a voice memo. I don't know if you guys are familiar. You could do like a, hey girl, how are you? You could do like a very generic voice memo that it sounds, and then you can actually send it to multiple people. And so you can do that. And so you're like, hey girl, how are you? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this new program. I just want to check in, see how you are doing, whatever, like using your personality so that they can hear you. Same thing with a video. You guys can do the same thing with a video. Again, having variety and really taking that in. And then you can send that video, if you keep it generic enough, you can send it to multiple people. Also using emojis. So many times we're like sending a waving emoji and people wave right back. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, you guys are not answering my questions, but I send a waving. So again, just being creative, but don't feel bad because remember, most people are not on their social media the way we are, or at least looking at their social media the way we are. So just honoring that is, and a lot of people just forget. They look at it while they're like taking the groceries out, it pings, they may open it up and then they forget, and then their kids distract them. So again, I will say that our follow-up game is so strong. People are always like, man, you follow up really aggressive. Like, not aggressively. They're just like, they always thank us. They're like, thank you for never giving up on me. Thank you for always following up. Thank you for always sending me a message. And sometimes also don't be afraid when you do get that person, don't be afraid to hold them to what they said. Like, I'll give you an example. I have a customer who, she's been telling me since March that she has a trip coming up and that before the trip, she wants to get in shape. She wants to do it. Now this trip is like 3 weeks away. So I messaged her and I was like, hey, do you want to do the same message I sent to everyone? Hey, MM100's here. She's like, oh, I have this trip in 2 weeks. I'm not going to have time. I'm not going to be able to commit. I'm going to be in like China or wherever she is. And I was like, look, you said you wanted to do this program and you wanted to get in shape back in March. You said this. Here we are 2 weeks from the trip and you haven't done anything. Now, come on. And I literally was like, come on. I travel all over the world. I do my workout programs. You have no excuse. And she was like, she sent me one of those those gifts with like someone with their paw, like a little dog, like putting their paw over their eyes. And I was like, girl, you told me you wanted to get in shape. I'm here to help you. And she was like, all right, let's do it. So again, don't be afraid to hold people to what they said that they wanted. Again, as long as your heart is always, I do that. When I do that, I don't have so much emphasis on the outcome. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not like so tied emotionally, like I'm telling her this literally because I want her to buy. Yes, I want her to buy, but I'm also just being honest with her. And I'm just being a coach to her, and I'm being a friend to her, and someone who holds her accountable. So I don't have it so that even if she were to say no, I would have been like, cool, I'll see you when you get back. We'll be here when you're ready. So again, don't be afraid to hold people accountable in your follow-ups. Chris said he will post in whatever group is available. Yep. So he can post in the Healthier Wellness group. I'm going to have Luke start posting in there so that you guys can see a male figure as well in there, and that he can. Go ahead, Jackie.
So I can add him to the Healthier
Wellness Studio, the Healthier Wellness
Studio. Okay, not the business one.
No,
right? Because that's yours. Like
no, that's that's the coaches. That's for coaches. That's for people who want to build a business. You can add him to it if you want him to see
if he wants to build.
If he wants to build, yes, you can add him to it so that he can. See.
Okay, cool. I'll do that then. I didn't know if it was okay or not if I could add them to the Healthier You one, the Healthier Wellness Studio one. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And maybe Courtney, are you going to be joining in on the Healthier Wellness Studio? Are you in Jordan?
So it'll probably just be me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any other questions? Questions about business, goals, anything you're struggling with? Nothing? You guys know everything? I think it's I think where everyone is right now is just kind of really habitualizing, like I said, the vital behaviors, getting consistent, keeping that momentum going, every day, just really creating some sort of consistent schedule and always remembering, to incorporate balance into your life. That's really important. I know it's important for me. So it's important for, that you guys see that. And it's just saying, hey, just being mindful, hey, I'm gonna sit down for an hour, get these, do these activities that I need to get done in the hour. And the most important income producing activity are those conversations, are those connections, are talking to lots of people. Chelsea's having a rocking month, and it's because she's literally been talking to these people for months, and some of them probably years, and they've been telling her no. And so now they're, again, remembering, yep, true that, most about a year. And so now remembering that, again, every conversation you have is a seed planted. Every conversation, every follow-up, every relationship building, you're nourishing that seed, and it's like, and then one day they will harvest as you stay more consistent and as you show up and as you, show up in your social media with enthusiasm and excitement. People are going to be attracted to that. They're not going to be able to run away from that. They're going to be like, I want whatever go-go juice she is drinking, because like homegirl is high on life and I want that high on life, and that's the key, guys, right? It's like people want what we have. They may not know it yet, but they want what we have. A lot of people want, they want what we have, the enthusiasm, the tools, and just really standing proud behind this business, talking about the business, and for those of you who don't necessarily have financial success yet, when you talk about the business, talk about talk about the community, talk about, the emotional change, the mindset change. A lot of you have changed tremendously and grown tremendously in your mindset. A lot of you understand, you're doing a lot of personal development around your own limitations, around the ego, around all of these things that this type of knowledge and education is important that we get out into the community, because most people need help with that. They need help with their own limiting beliefs. And so just really encouraging them to come into this positive community. Jackie, go ahead, sweetheart.
How do you handle, like, when people, because I've been getting a lot of responses that they're saying that they're just supporting. Mm-hmm. And that, they're like, oh, you're just really inspiring, and just showing some support, keep it up, Like, oh, okay, I just say, well, thank you, it means a lot or whatever, right? But what do you do with those? Do you just, that's it, like move on, or?
So I would move on, but I also would ask them when they say that, I would say, thank you so much. I would love to know, what is it about what I'm posting that speaks most to you? Because then you're doing market research on what your audience is liking. So at least it's not, because at the end of the day, it's important for you guys to be doing market research on what is attracting your audience and what are they liking that you're saying, so that it's not a washout. And then one thing you can consider doing, Jackie, is, or anyone, you guys could consider, creating a free group, creating a free group that maybe you offer the resource of a free group. And maybe you run free challenges in there. You create quotes in there. It's not for the paid customers. That's where our team one is in that way. But maybe you say, hey, I actually have a group if you want to be a part of it. We're just focusing on motivation, positivity, health. And that's something that doesn't have to be anything that's too much work, but at least you have a resource for them that, and then what I would do is I would just keep them on. You can also ask, like, do you mind if I follow up with you in the future, to see if you'd be interested in joining me in the future? And a lot of people tell me yes. I rarely get the person who tells me no. I honestly think, like, in 6 years of as aggressive as we've been, I probably have gotten on a hand, like 5 people who have been like, stop talking to me, like, stop communicating with me, like, get me off your damn list. Like, and I'm like, all right, thank you. So yeah, but at the very least doing, yeah, even Chelsea, and I've messaged thousands. Yeah, even she's only had a couple of those. So don't be afraid to ask people, hey, can I follow up with you in the future? I love the question of really just getting to know what is it that they want. What is it that they like seeing from me? Because that gives you more insight as to what you should be posting more of. Because that's how you build your tribe. That's how you're talking, to your tribe in a way that serves them. I hopped right into a convo about what else they'd like to see. How are they doing? What's new to them? That's what Courtney says. Again, just building community. Again, you never know what someone else is doing, how they may serve you. And every person, even if they're not, if they're not a direct customer, they're a connector, right? So it's like, you want to be someone that always leads with integrity. You want to be someone that doesn't look at someone as a number. You want to be someone that, that honors them in that way. And then that way, one day when they hear someone that's like, hey, I need to lose weight, they're like, oh, you should go check out my friend Jackie, because she's doing something awesome over there. So you just never know. Don't feel like everything's lost in vain. Again, it's building. Not every person's going to be our customer, but they can always be a connector. And that's, so just be always mindful of that. Another question. Yep, Katie.
This is really helpful, by the way. This call is awesome. This might be a super 101 question. I think it is, but as far as like getting a niche going, like, I wonder if there's, okay, so for example, like yours is like you speak a lot to the medical community, and Chelsea speaks a lot to the teaching community. I'm trying to decide, like I have my administrative job role that I was speaking to really like exclusively, but there's also a curly girl community that I really like. And I didn't know if it would be too much to like really dive into 2 or even 3.
I want you to dive in. I want you to dive into who you are. So if that's part of you, it's all of you, and remembering that ultimately what you guys are building is you guys are building brands. You're building Katie's brand. Just like, yeah, Chelsea, her niche is teaching, and her niche is teachers. But a lot of other coaches, it's really just highlighting all their 4 or 5 key aspects that bring them joy. Because you're going to get curly hair girls that are going to be like, oh, I love these tips, or I love these, whatever you're going to share with them in there, because there's huge communities around curly hair. Like, I
had no idea.
Yeah, there's huge communities around curly hair. So I think that'd be a fun, and it's a way to add diversity and variety to your posting. Because yes, I speak to healthcare professionals, but I also have a whole brand around Own Your Sexy. I have a whole brand around sensuality, confidence. Like, that's all coming, and that's just all because that's me. I have a brand, I feel like I talk a lot of very deep spirituality stuff, and I feel like, and it's going to evolve. Like, and I'm not afraid to evolve, because then the right people are going to come. My tribe will continue to either grow with me or they'll fall out. But as we evolve, our social medias may evolve.
Okay.
And as you get to know more of yourself, and as you get inspired by certain content and certain things, you're going to see, hey, maybe I can educate on this. Maybe I can share about this. That's why it's so important that you guys are doing all types of personal development, because that's where I get my inspiration from. When I'm doing these videos, like the video I did today that I'm going to post, I got it from I was literally reading my book, and I'm like, okay, I need to read my book. And I was like, oh, this is really good. Let me share about this. And that's where I got my inspiration for today's video, or that's why it's always good to be reading something that really excites you and is allowing you to grow. That's where you're really going to serve people in the best way.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Jackie, you still have your hand raised? Go ahead.
I noticed lately that I've been having, when I go and I follow people from things that I like and certain pages that I feel that I can relate to, I feel like a lot of them are like already doing something when it comes to health and fitness. And I'm just having a hard time figuring out like who to follow, I guess, and who to attract. Like I can be, myself and be out there and like express what's going on and all that stuff to reach, but I don't know how to go look for those people that I need to go be reaching, I guess.
So the best advice I would tell you is to pick those people who have similar niches to you, and those people who have similar niches to you and who have large followings. And we've said this before, go to their followers, because if they have a brand that's similar to what you're trying to build and you're literally being that, check out their followers and just follow their followers, and don't worry about because you're going to spend waste your time if you're like, oh, let me try to be very specific about who to add and who to and I don't know if Chelsea has a different way of like thinking about this, but like for me, I don't keep saying Chelsea because she's the other star, diamond on here. But like for me, I just focus on growing my account, with eyes. And then I wait through my stories, through my engagement, I wait for that to naturally increase. And that's where I find the people that I'm going to be reaching out to one-on-one. Does that make sense? So like, as I grow my following, hopefully my engagement will grow. People who are viewing my stories will grow. My likes will grow. My comments will grow. Then those are the people that I go to, more one-on-one to go seeking them more. So Chelsea says, yeah, I don't overthink anything too much. Yeah. So I would just focus on those bigger accounts and just follow, their followers.
Now, how do I go find, so for example, like what about somebody that's on their own fit journey and they have a lot of followers and it doesn't look like they're selling anything? Would you advise that I go follow their followers or no?
It depends. Like, for example, the Tone It Up community is a huge community. Like Tone It Up is a huge community that has nothing to do with Beachbody. So they are our avatar. They could be our customers. They could join us. So again, I wouldn't, obviously I wouldn't advise Beachbody, and I wouldn't advise, going over necessarily to like Isogenics, but maybe there's like a big Weight Watcher crew. There's a big, Weight Watcher community that you can also, tap into, bigger accounts there, because those people are going to be looking for inspiration on weight loss and lifestyle changes. So looking there as well.
Okay.
And also looking into like, what are your struggles and what other accounts speak to your struggles? You know what I mean? Like speaking to your past wounds and like what you've overcome, because that's what's going to help you. Like I follow a lot of people who are like into like confidence and manifestation and spirituality, like all the things that I'm really into and all the areas that I'm growing in. So really focusing on those things as well. And then you follow those accounts. And I wouldn't go like, again, don't be like, oh, because then you're going to waste time. I literally, when I was doing this, right now I'm just kind of growing organically. I'm not going, but again, I'm at a different stage. In the beginning, I was going out and being more proactive. Right now, I'm just really just trying to use hashtags very specific to what I'm posting for that day. Because that's what's key with the hashtags, guys. You want to make sure that if you're posting hashtag clean eating, that you are posting something about food and clean eating. Like that's what Instagram wants you to be doing, is making sure that you're posting, that your hashtags relate to whatever it is you're posting about. They don't want to see like hashtag clean eating and then it's like a picture of you out with your girlfriends and it's just like you hanging out but you're not eating anything, or like, you know, like they want to make sure that it's, or if it's like a motivational quote, you know, look at all the hashtags for motivational quotes, all the different ones that you follow, and create your hashtags like that as well. Because that's the other way to grow your account, is using hashtags. And I just show what I'm doing and invite people to do it too every day. So Chelsea says she's always inviting people to join her on what she's doing, you know, being very consistent in that inviting. And when she says inviting, it's usually probably more in stories. Like if you follow her, you'll see she talks a lot more in her stories than in her like actual feed. A lot of her inviting, and a lot of the people who are doing, you know, they're inviting more and talking more through their stories. One or two more last questions, or if anyone has, and then like I said, just trying to keep this to the 30-minute mark. Is this helpful to you guys to have these like kind of like weekly, and you guys can come in here and get, you know, think of your questions? Good. So we can continue this and think of your questions. You can, and if you can't make it, you know, send the question over to us, but no question is ever, you know, ever stupid. No question. I have a feeling there will be lots of repetitive questions, but that's what this is for. So it's meant for that repetition. It's meant for that, and that a place where you can send your coaches, and a place where you guys can all, you know, learn and just see what are the things that you're having struggle with this week. And then next week, if you come on. So yeah, the goal would be to try to have at least one, ideally 2 of these a week, for people with different schedules. That's why I was asking when people could get on, because I know Luke could do during the day. I mean, he's home during the day. So, but if more people are on at night, then we could have just 2 night ones to help with people. If no one else has any other questions, well, thank you guys for hopping on. I'm going to go and post my video. And I would also encourage you guys to really challenge yourselves to start doing more video. Get into that habit. You know, in the beginning, it's scary if you're not used to it, but really pushing yourselves out of your comfort zone. What I do is I record my video on Facebook and then I save it. So I go live on Facebook on my page. I save it. Then I put that on my IGTV. So that's what I do. I take whatever video I did, I put it on my IGTV, and then I share it to my feed so that it's on my feed. And then when you go to share it, it'll ask you if you want to put a preset photo that'll be the photo that it'll show on your feed. And so one thing I'm trialing right now is just kind of like a quote about what the video is about in a nice, in my colors of my feed, which is like pink and white. So that's what I'm doing right now. And that seems to be working and increasing my engagement. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you. Have an amazing evening. Bye.